So this is one of the honest reviews after using the product for a while. So I used the Motorola Edge 50 Neo for over a month now, and like in general I have few things which are like huge positives and I have few big challenges. So let's start with the challenges. So the first challenge, which I think it is actually the biggest, is the camera. Like the camera of it, like when you open it, it's actually pretty laggy. So this is something which I think Motorola definitely need to fix. Like every time when you actually try to open and then grab a photo, it takes time to actually grab it. So like for example, if you're trying to, take pictures of a child running, yeah, like I'm sorry to say, but this is not the phone for it. Like it's literally like the speed of it is often so annoying to just, to grab a photo that I was just negatively surprised, I'm sorry to say. The thing is that they probably can fix it in the future, and I hope that, with the right patch, the actual feel of the camera will work nicely, especially if you go on a video, when you record. Like, photo is probably the worst one. The video, it's okay, it's good, like no issues, because obviously when you press record, it just goes. But actually grabbing a photo in the right moment, it's hard. I'm sorry Motorola, but you do need to fix that. And on that Edge 50 Neo, like I thought, I learned about it, and kind of like I learned through, working with it, and I was like, yeah, and especially when the light changes, it is not great. So the second thing is the camera quality. So in general, it is okay for a price of this phone. Like it is definitely good. It is not something too great, but at the same time, it's not below average in any way. So I do like that. But I think that it's one of the also minuses, that it's not like the best of the camera. It's okay quality. And the third one is it doesn't have a reverse wireless charging. Or wire charging as well. So like the wireless charging reverse, that's something which I would love to have on this phone as well, because I do use wireless charging so often. And that's something, for example, which I have with my some of the Samsungs, and just something which I very much like. So these are like the huge, for me, three minuses. Obviously the first one, the laggy camera. The positives. So one of the very much positives, I do like that it has a front fingerprint display. That's just something I love, and it just works. It literally works like a charm, and it works very nicely. This is something which I very, very much like. I don't know why, but like for me, it's like the front fingerprint is just something that is just so natural, and that my fingers are just right there. So this is a big one. The second is the display size. So it's 6.4, I think it's exactly 6.36, and I think it's a perfect size display. Like when you actually look at this display, it is perfect size. It fits in the hand perfectly. Like I don't have a large hands. I don't think I have a small hands. I have like a medium size hands, and it's just a perfect. It fits so perfectly in my hands. It feels so sturdy, and I feel like that my hand is holding it nicely. At the same time, it's very light. So this is something which is a huge plus. And when I talk about the displays, or talking about the front, I also like to cover the back. So at the beginning, I thought that vegan leather, which is on the back, was a little bit weird. Like I thought, like it's nice. It had a smell, but it doesn't have that after a month. So it is okay, but it's actually very pleasurable. And I realized that with the vegan leather, actually the phone holds very nicely, so it doesn't slide. So often, when I use my Samsung, like I kind of did something and I realized I had both phones, and my Samsung just slid and just went on the floor. Well, the Motorola stayed, because my fingers are nicely holding that vegan leather. So, that is actually a very, very huge plus. I do very much like it. I think Motorola, well done, keep doing that. So, another thing which I think it's a very nice thing, it's the always on display. So it has that option for always on display, and that's something which I very much like in the phone. So like I'm a person who doesn't use the watch very often, so having the screen always shows me the time, the date, and the temperature. It's just a lifesaver, especially in the evening or at night, when I'm just waking up in the middle of the night, and just I can easily just look at my desk and see the time. It is a good one. I think it's one of those features when like when you don't use it, you're kind of like, meh, I don't need it. But when you start using it, I realized that it would be very hard for me to get used to it to not use always on display. Especially that I tested some of the phones recently, which didn't have it always on display, and I was like, okay, this is the feature that I actually appreciate. So one of the things which I think it's like a Motorola thing, and I think it's just a cool one, which I realized that when I was initially doing the review, that it might be a silly feature, but it's actually cool. So they have those gestures, and this, for example, the karate move. And you know, you can set up some gestures to kind of work with it. And for example, this one is just such a lifesaver, especially if I go to the basement or in the middle of the night. I know it's just like this, and like the flashlight is just on. Pretty cool, right? But the case is that it has kind of multiple gestures that you can set it up, and I think that's a very good one, which Motorola did. So well done. And obviously one of the last ones, also the AI. So I think in general the AI on this phone, it's very nice. So another thing is the wireless charging. So I'm so happy that they actually added the wireless charging here. So the thing which I kind of very much enjoy, I do often use wireless charging, as I have wireless charging power banks. I also have a wireless charging kind of set in my phone. And it just works. Like I literally just put my phone and it just charges, and I have a few wireless chargers laying around, and just put my phone down and it will charge, you know, on the charger. Game changer, totally game changer. I'm a huge fan. As I mentioned, the minus, not having the reverse wireless charging, because I would love to charge my headphones with it, you know? So I think it probably will be another step to do that. So it's pretty cool. When it comes to the gaming, so I very much like that it has this gaming kind of vibe. So when you actually play and when you actually, for example, turn on the PUBG or stuff like that, it works very smooth. So that's something which I very much enjoy. And it also has the toolkit. So I like that the Motorola actually built in the toolkit. So, you know, you can actually set up the performance mode right here. You can set up the, you know, CPU, and actually you can see it here. You can set up the CPU, you can see the CPU, you can see the RAM here. Like you can immediately block calls, notifications, set up the sensitivity. You can set that you want to see the FPSs, the frame per second. So it's kind of like all built in and help you to set it up nicely so you can actually game without interruptions. And I do like that. I think, you know, that's a cool one, especially that we game a lot with the phone, so that's a big plus. So the general feeling of the phone, it is fast. Like the phone is very fast, it's very responsive, like the screen resolution is very nice. Like it does feel that it, you know, fits my needs, especially for the size, like 6.36, 6.4, it's awesome. So these are my general feelings after using a month for a phone over a month. Which I very much like. And I think one last addition is actually the wire charging as well, because it is pretty decent. Why is that? Because the wire charging actually supports up to 68 watts. And that is good. Like that is something which for me was like, wow, I like it. Like I can feel that, you know, when my Motorola is low on power, like I'm gonna just plug it in. I have a 100-watt charger and it charges very quickly. And that's something which for me is like, yeah, that's definitely a huge positive. So yeah, this is it. My honest feelings about using the Motorola Edge 50 Neo for a month. And you know, if you like it, you know what to do. Just hit that like and subscribe to my channel so you're up to date with everything what's going on. Take care.
MadTechTalk, tech so fly, breaking down gear, let's amplify. Sub like, don't miss a thing. Tech reviews with a little bling. We out for now, but stay tuned. More fire tech is dropping soon.